Hey you guys, I am Caroline Sizemore, and today I'm going to be doing the interpersonal lecture speech. I've actually really enjoyed this class, and I'm really excited to be doing this speech on something that I'm enjoying learning about. I've learned a lot about myself in this class and about how others communicate with me, so I'm really excited to help share what I've discovered to you guys and hope that y'all are excited about it as well. As you guys know, for this assignment, I am going to be discussing a concept or theory that we have briefly looked over or read about during the course of the semester and kind of go more in depth in discussing it so that you can better comprehend exactly what it is as a whole. So with that being said, I'm going to be discussing the social exchange theory. I will be defining it in order for you to understand kind of what we read in the beginning of class, like in our book and everything. But I'm going to go a little bit more in depth because I'm going to discuss the exact vocabulary related to it as well as the history behind it when it was first researched, all that kind of stuff. And then I'm just going to kind of go more in depth in explaining all aspects of the theory in order for your comprehension of it to be fully developed. So, what is social exchange theory? Or SET, as I saw it be referenced to in like many other books and research databases. In our book that we've been using all class, it said that the social exchange theory is the theory that you develop relationships that will enable you to maximize your profits. That's interesting. But when I Googled it, it kind of had the same definition, but it added a little bit more to it. It said that the social exchange theory is a sociological and psychological theory that studies the social behavior and the interactions of two parties that implement a cost-benefit analysis to determine the risks and benefits from the relationship. So, in this comparison, Google gave us quite a bit more of a kind of in-depth look at the social exchange theory. So with that, I kind of did some research and I found 4 vocabulary terms that I thought were very basic that we needed to know in order to understand what we're going to talk about today. And those 4 are going to be rewards, costs, profits, and comprehension level. So rewards can be described as anything that would cost to obtain. In our book, it actually tells us that there are 6 types, and those 6 types are money, status, love, information, goods, and services. So those are kind of the basic rewards that we like to accept in a relationship. Costs, however, on the other hand, are going to be things that we would normally try to avoid, things that we consider unpleasant or things that we don't really seem as fun. My go-to example is always dishes. I absolutely hate doing the dishes, so that is probably one of my biggest costs, I would say. And then profits. Profits we're going to kind of talk a little bit more about later in the discussion, but it can be described as a result of taking the costs from the rewards. So in this whole topic, I will mention multiple times profits equal rewards minus costs, but I'll kind of get into that a little bit later. And then comprehension level, the general idea of what you think you should receive from a relationship. So those are our 4 vocabulary terms. So I'm going to kind of start talking about the history and then we'll start breaking everything down. The history of it, I found that Mary Ann Dayton did a great job of explaining the history exactly to us in her Explaining Theories in Interpersonal Communication book. In her book, she said that this theory was just researched in 1959 by Thibet and Kelly. And they began their research by having the question of why some people choose to continue some relationships and some choose not to. In their research, they finally determined that a relationship has costs and rewards, and the exchange profits of these 2 things determine the status of a level of a relationship. And they can also determine how satisfied you are in a relationship as well. So with that being said, I'm going to kind of break it all down for you so that you can kind of see exactly what I'm trying to say. So let's say one day we're in class together and we sit beside each other, we're really good friends, and one day you ask me if you can borrow a pencil. And I'm absolutely ecstatic to give you a pencil because we're really good friends, so I'm going to let you have my pencil. And the next day I come to class and you have my pencil, and I need a pencil because I forgot mine, and you won't give me one of yours. And so in that reference, my costs are going to outweigh my rewards, so the profits are going to be negative. So what this means is I'm going to be very unsatisfied in our friendship, and I am going to most likely not want to be friends with you in the near future. On the other hand, let's say one day we come to school, I let you borrow a pencil, same thing, but the next day I ask if I can borrow one of your pencils, and you say absolutely. So you give me my pencil. I have my pencil back now. But you also give me a highlighter so that I can highlight all the important things that we learned about today. In this scenario, my rewards outweigh the cost. So I'm going to be very satisfied in our friendship, and I'm going to want to continue to be your friend in the future. However, there is also a scenario where it's kind of like an equilibrium. And so what this is when, let's say, I let you have my pencil, I let you borrow my pencil, and the next day I ask if I can borrow a pencil from you. And you say, yes, of course. So I get the exact same pencil back. So my rewards and my costs are level, they're balanced. So my profits are going to be equal. So I'm still going to want to be your friend, but it's kind of the bare minimum of what I'll accept, which is also the comparison level of this whole theory. So the comparison level can be described by Mart Murphy in his social exchange presentation, and he says that the comparison level is the lowest level of rewards a person is willing to accept. And that's exactly what that is the lowest thing that I'm willing to accept from you after I let you borrow my pencil. So with all that being said, I hope that you can now better understand this whole theory as a whole, and I hope that you go on to have a great rest of the semester. Thanks, you guys. Bye.